Okay, I am going live and we are talking about market analysis for the state, for the city of Bluffdale. And I have not done a Facebook Live before and shared my screen. So this could be an absolute train wreck. I don't know if you can see me or not. Here's my view. So we're just going to go for it and see how it goes. So, what we're going to be doing is each week on Friday at 10 a.m., I'm going to be coming on and doing a Facebook Live talking about the market. So, with this being the first week of the month, we're going to be talking about days on market. Next week, we're going to talk about the average list price. Then we'll go into the average sold price. And then on the fourth week, we'll be doing rotating topics. So, I want to know what's important to you, what you want to hear about, and for this first go around, we're going to be talking about interest rates. That's definitely been a hot topic. So we're going to be talking about whether you should lock your interest rate, not lock, especially if you're going under contract soon, looking to buy, getting a loan, things of that nature. So with that being said, we are going to be talking about days on market. Today, September 2nd, 2022. And I'm going to be going into utahrealestate.com. So this is the main MLS or multi-listing site for real estate for the state of Utah. So I'm going to go ahead here and we're going to do a full residential search. So this is pulling all of the homes that are available for sale in the state of Utah that are listed on this MLS. And right now you'll see that there's 9,751 matches or homes that are available. And these are a handful of different property types. These are all properties that are for sale. So I'm going to go ahead and filter for the past 30 days. We're just going to take this small snippet of time so that way each week we can compare and go from there. So you'll notice our matches have dropped to 3,748. And then we're also going to put in the city of Bluffdale because this is going to be specific for us. So right now there are currently 26 homes that are active on the market for sale. For our statistics right now, we want to know how many days are on the market. So for days on market, this is when a new home is listed to the MLS that starts at 0. And then every day that they're on the market before they go under contract, that's the number that we're going to be tracking. So I'm going to go ahead and change our status to under contract, which means they've accepted a contract. It hasn't closed yet, so it hasn't been sold, but they're under contract. I'm also going to select backup. Backup means that they have a contract that they've accepted and they're now looking for backup offers. But again, it's not sold. It's still a property that's for sale, but it's under contract. So if I go ahead and filter those things, two things, there are 20 homes in the Bluffdale market that are currently under contract and in backup status. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is only in the past 30 days. Again, this 30-day window. So we'll go ahead and view our results. So right here under the status, you'll see UC, which means under contract, and B is backup. All of these homes are in the city of Bluffdale. And you'll notice that this is the list price. So if you were to find these homes active on the MLS, this is what they're listed for. And right now the sold price is at 0. And it's because this house has not sold yet. The number that we're going to be looking at specifically is over here for DOM, which is days on market. So I'm going to go ahead and filter this from highest to lowest, so we can, or lowest to highest, same diff, so we can get an idea of what things have looked like over the past 30 days for homes that are currently under contract. So right now, the quickest time that a home was listed was this condo here. It was on the market for 4 days before it got under contract. So let me show you what this looks like. So if I look at this property, it's been on the market. The total time it's been on the market is 17 days. It entered the market on the 12th. The contract date was the 16th. So between when it entered the market and it went under contract, our days on market timestamp is 4. So I'm going to go ahead on our statistics here, and our minimum days on market before a house went under contract is 4. And if we look at the opposite end, all the way down here, this home was on the market for 140 days. Now, let's talk about outliers because there are going to be some that are going to influence our numbers. I don't know if this is one specifically, but usually with new construction, because they have to wait for the time for the home to be built, sometimes that takes a little bit longer. So if we look at this home here, we can see that it was built in 1980. So this is not an outlier. This is not a new construction. This home has been on the market for 140 days. It's in backup status. If we look at our under contract, our longest time period here is 93. And if we look at this one, we're under contract, and this is that new construction home. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to use this one here as our base because we're under contract. Our total time, we're going to have 93. So I'm going to go ahead and update this max. So that is quite a range. If we're looking at, these here, we have a jump. So we have a couple in the 80s. And then here we have a couple in the 60s. We go to the 50s. We go to the 40s. So really kind of in each increment of 10, there are 2 to 3 homes going all the way down. Our biggest section by one kind of is from 12 to 19 to 4. So really over the past 30 days, we have a wide range, and there's plenty of homes in each of those clusters that kind of support that. What's interesting about our market right now is it's shifting so quickly. We're seeing change so quickly that typically within a 30 days, so if I were to refine my search here just for fun, and let's look at days, instead of 30 days back, let's see, let's go the full year and take a look at that. So if we're looking at the full year, we have 43 homes, okay? Out of those 43, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-ish. So about a fourth of them were under contract within the first 10 days. And then if we're looking at this next cluster here, the next 10, so again, 25% were between 10 and 20, 20 to 30. It's kind of following that same trend. So really, depending on, let's look at how this breaks up on the style of home, because that's also going to play a big factor. So for example, if I'm looking at a 2-story home or Rambler home, both of those are all single family homes. So from here going up to the top are all single family, whereas from here going down, we're looking at townhouses and condos. So if we're looking here, again, at this column, we're looking at days on market, this middle one. Looking at townhomes only, we've got 19, 96, 11, 55. We're kind of all over the map. There's not really a hard pull one way or another. And then if we go to starting at Ramblers here, going up the opposite direction, we've got, let me make sure I'm in the right column. Right here, days on market, 6, 43, 55. I think I'm going to start pulling these numbers so we can graph them. But again, they're kind of all over the map. So let's go ahead and we're going to take all of these numbers here. I'm going to copy them over into this beautiful spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and add a space right here so we can separate our single family homes and our townhomes. And then we're looking here on days on market. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that so we can see what we're looking at. So if we look at the average days on market for our townhomes, oops. Get rid of that part. we're looking at why is my equation not working? Average. Okay, that's pulling all of my homes. I just want to start at 36. Here we go. Okay, so our average days on market for our townhomes here is 33 days. And then if I take that same statistic and we're going to look at all the way up to the top, which starts at 4. Again, 36. Let me make sure my ranges are pulling from 43 to 4. Yeah. So for our single family homes, where we're looking at under contract and backup offers, 36. And for townhomes, we're looking at 33. So really about the same. This is over the entire year. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new sheet. We're going to come over here. I'm going to refine my search. We're going to go back to the past 30 days instead of the past year. Go ahead and view our results. Let's pull these numbers out. Oops. And we'll compare the difference. Oops, that didn't work for me. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and filter our townhomes out from our single family. So we've got, I'm going to pull our condo down here. And we'll add our space right here. So if we're looking at, again, days on market, we're looking at the average. Man, the struggle is real. Let me just pull that equation over. Okay, so we want to just look at our townhomes, which starts at 18. We're at 50 days on market. So taking the average right here, you'll see equal average, row 18 down, we've got our condo in here, which really is almost an outlier, this condo, because it was 4 days. If we're just looking at townhomes, let's go ahead and delete this out. We're looking at 57 days on market right now in the past 30 days for our townhomes, versus if we're looking at the entire year, we were at 33. So if we take our 33 over where we're at now, I mean, that's a 57% change. So more than half of the difference between last year or the entire year versus the month that we're in right now. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for our single family homes and see what that looks like. So for our average, we're going to pull all the way from row 4, which is the first data point, going down to 16. We're looking at 50 days on market, whereas here we're at 36. So on our single family homes, the days on market are slightly higher than our townhomes on an annual basis. And looking at the month, our townhomes are days on market are higher than single family. So it's interesting how those are toggling. So if we look at the average, let's also look at the median. So if we're looking at the median of these numbers, we're at 58, so pretty much the same there. And if we look at these numbers, we're at 42. Let's go ahead and pull that there. So this is looking at the past 30 days. So I'm going to go ahead and round this number up to 51. This is for our single family homes. So right here, I have SF for single family. This is our average. So I'm going to go ahead and put 51. And then our average TH for townhomes, I'm going to go ahead and round this number up to 58. Okay, and this is out of 20 homes in the past 30 days. So what's interesting about this is the market's changing on a consistent basis. With our rotating topics, each week we're going to be talking about a different focus. So the first Friday of next month, we'll be going back on days on market, and we'll be able to take a look at this kind of timestamp of where things are at versus where they're going to shift to. So over the past 2 to 3 months, we've had a major market shift. So just kind of talking about days on market in general, if we look a couple months ago, probably a little bit more than a couple, maybe 6 months or so, we were at the peak. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen share. Let's see if I can figure that out so we can see you guys. Nope, I don't have a clue. Hide. Nope, didn't help. You guys can see how helpless I am. Oh well. So if we look at the beginning of the year on our stats, or about 6 months ago, our days on market were 2, 3, 4 days at max. If your house was on the market for longer than a week, it was like a red flag of what's wrong with your house. It was definitely a seller's market. People were offering their firstborn child, their cat, everything under the sun. They were paying leaps and bounds over market value, and it drove our market up at a very steep rate. And so if we're looking at what has happened now, if you've heard the terms market correction, that means the market's coming down and it's going to a more stable place. So it doesn't mean that the bottom's falling out. It doesn't mean that we're crashing. It means that our days on market are going up higher. Our list price or our starting price is coming down, right? Because the increase that we've been having just isn't sustainable. So now if we fast forward 6 months later, we're still seeing that market correction, okay? So if we were to pull stats about 2 months ago, the average days on market here was about 30 days. So over the past 2 months or so, these have also climbed up. What we're gonna see going into the next couple of months is this rate of increase is slowly going to become smaller. So the rate of change is going to be a lot less drastic. Here in Utah, we are in a housing crisis of a housing deficit, which means there's not enough homes to meet the demand of buyers. So because we have more buyers looking to purchase homes, it's going to still increase the demand, which makes it still a seller's market. There's less buyers competing for the homes, and so that's going to still play into the market as a whole. But in general, we're looking at average days on market. This here statistically in a long-term perspective is high. Being on the market for, over 2 months or a month and a half is pretty high. But a lot of these homes that were listed right at the beginning of this shift. So during this shifting period, instead of the demand being where it was and it coming down, the days on market, there's less people fighting for that home. It's going to increase that time that it's on the market. You're going to see those price reductions. So if we look at sold data just really quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and filter for sold. And then I'm going to pull this into a different screen. And if I'm looking at my results for what things have sold for, this is over the past 30 days, I'm going to see a lot of list price versus sold price. So Utah's a private state, so our sold prices are not public. So that's why I'm pulling it into a different screen. But I'm going to go ahead and let you know what the differences are. So I'm going to take a bunch of numbers here. I'm going to copy them into our spreadsheet. I'm going to add one more tab, and then I'll pull them back over after I pull the information off. So we're just looking at strict numbers. Okay, so I'm going to pull over our list price versus our sold price. This is over the past 30 days in Bluffdale in our market. So if I take what it was listed at and I take the difference between what it sold, we're looking at these numbers here. So this one, for example, was listed at 520. It's sold at 500. So the difference is 20. So this is actually opposite. Let me help you guys out, and I'll pull this number to here. And then we'll pull it down. That way we've got negatives and positives on the right side. So these homes here that have a negative are what they sold under what it was listed for. These homes here sold over what the home was listed for. So we'll get into these numbers and talk about it in detail when we get into our average list price of average what's our things being listed for. That's going to be this column right here. And then next week we'll jump into our average sold price. So that's going to be on average what things are selling for. Are they higher? Are they lower? Are they right on? What does that look like? But for today, we just wanted to keep it short. We're talking specifically on days on market. And to be honest, right now, when we're looking at our statistics, we don't have anything that's really close to a market trend. Really, this is sporadic. We're in a market that we've never experienced before. With time, we'll be able to pick up more patterns, and I'm excited to continue to do this on a weekly basis. But if I'm looking at this range from almost 0 to 100 for days on market, where typically I would say in our market during COVID times, we were within a week. That went to 2 weeks. That was a new normal. Now we're close to a month. With our averages averaging a month and a half, I would attribute this to being in the movement of the market shifting. But things are going to be settling down. KSL put forth an article, and I'll post it here, about expectations of 2023 going into 2024, what things look like for the entire nation. For Utah specifically, I believe that our recovery rate is going to be much quicker. Our changes, gotta go pick up my kids. Our changes are going to be less drastic because we're in a really good, stable market in the sense of jobs are great. The attraction to Utah is great. People want to stay in Utah. And then that's going to continue to press on the demand for homes. If you've noticed the expansion in our areas, we're running out of space land-wise. So that also plays into demand. So because our demand is so high, it gives us a little bit more stability. But we'll see you next week. Friday, 10 a.m., we'll be going over average list price. We'll be looking at what homes are listing for. We'll take a close look at, two-story homes versus ramblers. What are the differences? What about townhomes? We'll talk about square footage. So we'll get into the average price per square foot. If you're getting ready to list or thinking about listing, what is the current market analysis for your home in this area? So I'm excited to see you guys. We'll see you next week.